A completely unrelated question. Do you like MrBeast?
No.
Jack, do you think MrBeast ruined YouTube?
Yes.
Now, in all honesty, Jack, why?
Because it became more about views, money, and popularity than it did about having fun.
Jacksepticeye sat down for a lie detector test and decided to blow up the internet. September 2nd, 2023. One simple question about MrBeast. One brutally honest answer. The polygraph didn't lie, neither did Jack. And suddenly one of YouTube's nicest guys was at the center of a firestorm for saying what a lot of creators were thinking but nobody wanted to admit out loud. This wasn't the first time Jack called out the platform's biggest names. This was just the moment everyone finally paid attention. 3 YouTubers. 3 separate controversies. 3 completely different responses from the same guy. And the pattern reveals way more about YouTube's culture than you'd think. So how did the internet's wholesome Irish gaming dad become the unexpected voice calling out behavior that millions of people were uncomfortable with but too afraid to mention? Jack's entire brand was built on authenticity. Loud? Sure. Energetic? Absolutely. But fake? Never. He gained 30 million subscribers by being genuinely excited about video games and genuinely caring about his community. No manufactured drama. No clickbait controversies. Just a guy from Ireland who loved what he did and wasn't afraid to show it. That authenticity became his superpower. It also became his curse. Because when you build a career on being real, staying silent when things feel wrong becomes impossible. Fast forward to September 2023. Tom Simons, better known as Tommy Innit, invited Jack onto his channel for a lie detector video. Standard YouTube content. Ask silly questions, get silly answers. Everyone laughs.
Who's the YouTuber you hate the most?
I don't know. There's a lot of groomers and pedophiles on our platform.
The internet exploded immediately. Now here's where it gets interesting. Jack didn't just throw out an accusation and walk away. He explained his reasoning right there in the moment. His argument centered on a fundamental shift in YouTube's culture. Content creation had transformed from people making videos because they loved it into people engineering content designed purely for maximum algorithmic performance. The fun had become a calculated performance rather than genuine enjoyment. He pointed out something specific that stung. If Jimmy actually enjoyed making these massive production videos, they'd be longer. Viewers would see the authentic moments of excitement and spontaneity. Instead, everything felt precisely edited, meticulously planned, optimized down to the second for retention metrics. The internet's reaction split down the middle instantly. MrBeast's fanbase descended like a swarm. How dare Jack criticize someone who gives away millions to charity? How dare he attack the most successful YouTuber on the platform? The disrespect was unforgivable. But quietly, in comment sections and Reddit threads, thousands of creators and viewers admitted they'd been thinking the exact same thing. YouTube had changed. The algorithm rewarded a very specific style of content, and anyone who didn't adapt to MrBeast's formula was getting left behind. Jimmy himself responded within hours. He deleted the tweet later, but not before screenshots captured everything. His defense centered on reinvestment. He didn't buy mansions or sports cars. He poured every dollar back into bigger videos, and he'd been working 14-hour days for 14 years. Did Jack really think he'd sacrifice his entire life if he didn't love what he did? The drama resolved in less than 24 hours. Both guys messaged privately. MrBeast tweeted they were good. Jack addressed it on his Brain Leak podcast episode 22 on September 13th, with obvious sarcasm about how blown out of proportion everything became. Case closed, right? Not quite. June 21st, 2025. Almost 2 years later, Jack's back on Twitter and he's furious again about MrBeast. Jimmy had launched an AI thumbnail generation tool through his ViewStats platform, and he'd used Jack's logo in the promotional material without permission. Jack's response was immediate and unfiltered. He explicitly stated his hatred for what the platform was becoming. He called out AI's impact on creators directly. But notice what happened next. Again, private communication. Again, public clarification. Jack posted that while making content creation accessible was admirable in theory, this specific tool fundamentally hurt creators as a whole. MrBeast pulled the tool 5 days later. So Jack's criticism of Jimmy was consistent. It wasn't personal. It was about YouTube's direction and what success was doing to the platform's culture. And he was willing to say it twice, years apart, despite the backlash. But his response to Logan Paul, that was a completely different animal. January 1st, 2018. Logan Paul uploaded a video from Aokigahara Forest in Japan, the suicide forest, and he filmed a deceased person. Then he uploaded it to his 23 million young subscribers. The backlash was instantaneous and universal, but most creators stayed silent, too scared to speak up. Too worried about starting drama, too concerned about their own careers. Not Jack. January 2nd, 2018, the day the controversy exploded. Jack posted to Twitter immediately.
I think that it was a completely disgusting thing to do. That the lack of humanity that was shown in that video is astounding. It shocks me to my core. And I can't believe it ever made the light of day, and that sense of conscience didn't kick in between recording this thing, which is already morally just and ethically really strange and a really messed up thing to do. But the fact that your conscience didn't kick in between recording it and then having to edit it and then having to upload it and make a thumbnail and title it and re-record an intro for it and all these different types of things. I can't believe a video like that ever made the light of day.
He didn't hedge. He didn't equivocate. He asked what kind of mindset someone needed to even consider doing something like that. And he stated clearly that there was absolutely no defending it. But here's what separated Jack's response from everyone else's. He didn't make a reaction video. He didn't capitalize on the controversy for views. He didn't film himself watching Logan's video and expressing shock for 15 minutes of monetized content. Instead, that same day, he published a detailed statement on Tumblr explaining his approach. Other people had already said everything that needed saying about why it was wrong. Creating another outrage video wouldn't help anything. 3 days later, January 5th, Jack uploaded a video to his channel, 8 minutes long. Not a single mention of Logan Paul by name. Just an announcement about his plans to do something constructive instead of destructive. 2 days after that, January 7th, he went live for 8 consecutive hours, raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. His community showed up. Final total? Over $225,000. But Jack didn't stop there. He dedicated his entire 2018 streaming calendar to mental health charities. Monthly streams. Different organizations every time. Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, Crisis Text Line. By the end of the year, he'd raised over $1 million. The internet's response to Jack's approach was overwhelming support. He'd turned a horrific situation into genuine good. He'd refused to profit from tragedy. And he'd used his platform exactly how platforms should be used. Logan Paul eventually apologized, eventually took a break, eventually came back. But Jack's response remained the standard everyone pointed to when discussing how to handle that situation correctly. His Logan Paul response was clear, immediate, and uncompromising. His MrBeast criticisms were honest but reconcilable. So how did he handle calling out his actual close friend? February 2017, PewDiePie, Felix Kjellberg got dropped by Disney and YouTube. The Wall Street Journal published an article about anti-Semitic jokes in his videos, 9 specifically. The most infamous involved paying 2 men on Fiverr to hold up a sign saying hate speech while dancing. Felix claimed it was satirizing what people would do for money. Taken out of context, critics argued impact matters more than intent. YouTube's biggest creator was suddenly YouTube's biggest controversy, and Jack was directly caught in the crossfire. Scare PewDiePie Season 2 had Jack cast as the villain. February 15, 2017, YouTube canceled the entire production. Jack's role was gone. His opportunity to expand beyond gaming content was dead. This wasn't some distant drama he could comment on objectively. This was his friend. This was his career. And everyone was watching to see what he'd say. February 18, 2017, 3 days after the cancellation, Jack uploaded a 12-minute video titled Let's Talk to his channel. Unmonetized, serious tone. No jokes.
I think what Felix did was very stupid. I think it was a very moronic thing to do. I don't think, whether it was in context or not, that's a lot of contention that people have with the joke that he made, and that's what it always comes back to. It's like, well, in context, it's just a joke. And that flies to a certain degree. And the first thing I want to say is that I do not condone what happened. I do not condone these types of jokes. I do not condone the type of message that it was sending or any sort of hate speech, any sort of belittling of minorities, races, religions, anything like that. I've said this in my videos before, that I try to be as accepting as possible of people.
He called what Felix did stupid and moronic, whether in context or not. But he defended Felix's character based on personal knowledge. He argued you could disagree with a friend's actions while still supporting the person. The internet did not appreciate nuance that day. PewDiePie's fanbase turned on Jack with stunning speed. 65,000 dislikes flooded the video. His typical video got 300 to 400 dislikes maximum. This was different. Keemstar from DramaAlert accused him publicly of backstabbing. Twitter exploded with accusations of fake friendship. Even people who agreed with Jack's actual points criticized how he'd handled it publicly. 24 hours later, February 19th, Jack posted to Twitter again. He explicitly stated he regretted the video. People had opened his eyes to how naive his approach had been. Then he posted another lengthy Tumblr statement explaining further. His main regret wasn't the criticism itself, it was focusing too much on whether he agreed with what Felix did instead of addressing the media's role in the situation. To outside viewers, it looked like he'd thrown his friend under the bus. That was never his intention. He explained that being close friends with Felix made him think he could criticize more openly and explain later privately. But to everyone watching, that closeness wasn't apparent. It just looked like a public attack. His conclusion reversed his position entirely. He stood with Felix as his friend. In fact, now more than ever because Felix needed support. The internet's reaction to Jack's reaction was chaos. Some people respected him for reconsidering. Others accused him of caving to pressure. PewDiePie fans who'd been attacking him suddenly praised his loyalty. People who'd initially supported his criticism now felt betrayed. It was the messiest moment of Jack's career, and it revealed something crucial about how he approaches these situations. 3 controversies, 3 different YouTubers, 3 completely different responses. Logan Paul was a stranger filming a dead body for views. Jack's response was immediate, uncompromising, and action-oriented. No relationship to protect. No career implications to worry about. Just clear moral lines and a platform used for good. MrBeast was an acquaintance representing everything Jack saw going wrong with YouTube culture. Jack's criticism was honest, but delivered in a casual format. He stood by his points but was willing to resolve things privately. The friendship wasn't deep enough to stop him from speaking up, but it was substantial enough to communicate directly afterward. PewDiePie was his close friend and career benefactor. Jack's response was careful, conflicted, and ultimately retracted. He tried to criticize the action while defending the person. The backlash made him retreat. The relationship went out over the principle. So what does this pattern actually tell us? Jack's willingness to speak up is inversely proportional to his personal relationship with the person involved. The closer the friendship, the harder it becomes to maintain public criticism. The more professional distance exists, the clearer his voice becomes. But there's something else here. His criticisms across all 3 situations share common themes. Authenticity matters. Responsibility comes with platforms. Money and views shouldn't override basic human decency or genuine passion for creation. Jack's never been the drama channel type. He's not starting beef for content. He's not manufactured controversy to stay relevant. But when something genuinely bothers him about the platform's direction or someone's behavior, he's willing to say something. Even when it costs him. The Scare PewDiePie cancellation cost him professionally. The MrBeast controversy brought hate from millions of fans. The Logan Paul response could have easily been ignored like most creators did. But Jack keeps speaking up anyway. Sometimes he gets it right, like with Logan Paul's situation where he channeled outrage into charitable action. Sometimes he gets it messy, like with PewDiePie where friendship complicated his message. Sometimes he just states uncomfortable truths, like with MrBeast's impact on YouTube culture. And maybe that's exactly what YouTube needs. Someone with a platform big enough to matter but a perspective still grounded enough to question whether bigger always means better. The lie detector didn't make Jack criticize MrBeast. It just gave him permission to say out loud what he'd been thinking for years. That YouTube's evolution toward pure optimization and algorithmic perfection was costing the platform its soul. And when you look at all 3 situations together, a picture emerges. Jack's not trying to be YouTube's moral authority. He's just trying to be honest about what he sees happening around him. Sometimes that honesty creates controversy. Sometimes it creates change. Sometimes it just creates conversation. But at least it's genuine. In a platform increasingly defined by calculated authenticity and manufactured relatability, maybe that genuine discomfort with certain trends is exactly the voice that needs to be heard. Even if it costs followers, even if it starts drama, even if the polygraph machine is watching, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you appreciated Jack's willingness to speak honestly even when it's uncomfortable, hit that subscribe button because we need more of that energy on this platform.